Morning, welcome to today's vlog. We're making breakfast. Been up since 7, so it was a late start today. Mainly because it was a late finish last night. I was on the close at work, so didn't get in until like 11:30, and then didn't actually go to bed till 2. So I had a lie-in. It's still Christmas time for some people, so I had a lie-in. Oh, look, a full butter there. So if you're new, if you're coming in for the first time, welcome. I do this every day. I For a whole year I'm doing a video log series. So basically, just so I can chart the change of everything. So if you like it, subscribe, like, all that jazz. Make the bell ring. But what are we doing today? Today, I think we're going to watch Cats. We're going to go collect the princess, go shopping, go watch Cats, and then who knows after that. But if you're coming in because of the title, The Last Jedi is JJ Abrams' fault, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars at the moment, right? And then that'll be it. Then that'll be Star Wars done and dusted. And I've got some major news to say at the end of this as well. So stay tuned. But for Star Wars, so all three films now, 7, 8, and 9, have now wrapped up. That's it. The story is done. That trilogy is that's it now. So you've got your original trilogy, you've got your prequel trilogy, and now we finally got our sequel trilogy. And it's like it's a mixed bag, right? But a lot of people, when Last Jedi came out, really did not like it, really had a lot of hatred for it because of the choices that Rian Johnson made within the film. I think it started from the get-go, started from the beginning of the film with Luke looking at his lightsaber and then tossing it over his shoulder and then just sort of going, oh, and being grumpy. And I think a lot of fans did not like that. They wanted to see Luke with his green lightsaber kicking ass. And I think that's where a lot of fans really were upset by. They didn't get to see what they wanted to see. JJ, in The Force Awakens, kind of gave fans what they wanted to see. And so that everybody quite enjoyed that, more so than The Last Jedi. And Ryan comes along and goes, I'm not going to give fans what they want to see. I'm going to do something else. And then people are like, oh, But, some people do like The Last Jedi. And I think I know the reason why. And then, of course, you got Rise of Skywalker, and it's JJ back in the seat, and it's like, I'm going to give fans what they want again, and a lot of people have enjoyed it, even though they've pointed out so many faults within the film, like Last Jedi, but they've still loved it. And it's like, well, why is that? Is that because JJ's just giving the fans what they want to see, whilst, trying to also maybe course correct a few things from Last Jedi? And it's like, do you know what? If anything, these three films have just proven that George Lucas steering the ship is much better than the alternative, because the House of Mouse has royally messed it up, kind of thing. They had a chance. They had a shot with 3 films. And instead of doing some sort of like board meeting and going, look, right guys, we've got the 3 films here. We've got 4, so we got the first film here. We got the second film here. We got the third film here. This is going to be the overall arcing story. Okay, this character is going to go through it like that. This character is going to go through it like this. This is the overall film. Let's go make that first one now, guys. Get that director in. Instead of doing that, they went, okay, here's the first film. Okay, what does everybody think about it? We've released it into the cinema. Oh, they like it. Cool. Okay, coming off the back of this then, what happens next? Ryan, you got a story. Show us what you can do. And then he makes this story, and it's like, let's see what they like. They like it. They're like, it's real. Some people really hate it. Oh, some people really like it. Right. Mate, people liked your film. Do you want to come back in and do the last one? Okay, what story can you give us, right? And it's like they're making it up as they go along, and that's never a good idea. But, and here's where, tying into The Last Jedi now, JJ made the first one. JJ had The Force Awakens, and he could have done any story he wanted to do. He could have started that. He could have started off with Luke Skywalker training Jedi if he wanted to, and it's the temple and doing that backstory that kind of looked a bit cool that we see in The Last Jedi as well. And it's like, he could have done anything he wanted to do. But instead, he waited to the very end of the film to reveal Luke Skywalker. He built up Luke Skywalker through the course of the film, and then at the very last scene, we see Luke Skywalker, and Rey's like, here's your lightsaber, dude. And then that's it, cut film. And it's like, well, we saw 2 minutes of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, and now I can't wait to see what's going to happen. We had a year to build up in our head. Well, 2 years, in fact, because it didn't come out till 2017. We had 2 years in our head to build up what we wanted Last Jedi to be. And then, you know, they delivered Last Jedi. 2 years. I mean, I was pumped at the end of Force Awakens. I was like, I cannot wait to see the next film now. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the film now. And, you know, I was already going, oh, wouldn't it be cool for this to happen? Wouldn't it be cool for that to happen? And it's like, you know what? And then Ryan comes along, and, you know, he's given this story. He's given this plot point of like, well, Luke is on this planet, okay? That film ended in a way where the next film had to have taken off from where that one left off. Otherwise, it would have been a bit sort of copy-outy, or, you know, fans definitely wouldn't have liked that if it would have gone, right, cut to 3 years later now, and suddenly it's like, well, hang on a sec. Like, the story of Force Awakens ended where Last Jedi had to pick it up at that point. So Ryan was given this story. JJ goes, here, Ryan, here's your story, right? Boom. And Ryan goes, right, this is how I've got to start my film? Okay. So Luke's on a planet. Luke's in hiding. Why is Luke in hiding again? Oh, because he didn't want to be found. Because he turned his back on the Jedi. Because that's what happened in Force Awakens. He had gone into hiding. So he doesn't want to know about the Jedi. He's sort of like, right, okay, well, if that's true, if somebody comes and presents him with his past and goes, oh, by the way, lightsaber Luke, here you go. Oh, of course he's going to go, do you know what? I'm done with that, mate. Bye. Of course Luke is going to do that. That's just natural, you know? Because if he didn't, right? If he did what we wanted him to do, which was go, Rey, I must train you, right? Then looking back on it, people would go, well, hang on a second. Why were you in hiding then if it was that easy for you to suddenly, you know, go, yeah, okay, I'll train Rey, you know? Why would you need to go in hiding, you know? What would be your compelling reason to go in hiding if suddenly you changed your mind as soon as somebody showed up? It wouldn't have worked. That would have really... People would have lynched more so than they have if Ryan had done that. Sort of Luke's character, that's the only way it could have gone, because that's the way JJ set up or left Force Awakens. You know, JJ really set up The Last Jedi, you know, story for anybody to follow. And, you know, Ryan's a very good storyteller, you know. I haven't seen his other films like Brick, Looper, or Knives Out, but I know he is a good storyteller, and he keeps you guessing to the end. And Last Jedi definitely is that, you know, kept us guessing until the end. And he did his job. Rian Johnson did his job. Didn't make a great Star Wars movie, but he made a great story that made sense, but yet kept you guessing throughout the film. And that's what any good film is trying to do. And so Ryan had this mammoth task given to him by JJ, which means, JJ, you're really the kind of one that sort of set Ryan up to fail almost. I mean, Rian Johnson could have done any story he wanted to do. You know, he could have easily gone, right, okay, well, this is the fan service film I'm doing. And fans would have loved it and stuff like that, but then it wouldn't have made sense if you suddenly see, you know, Luke kicking ass and training Jedi right, left, and center. It would have like, well, why did you turn your back on the Jedi do you know what I mean? In the first place, it wouldn't have clicked. So, and then because obviously Ryan had made that film the way they made the film, and fans obviously sort of, you know, reacted that way, I guess maybe, you know, JJ felt I needed to course correct, because maybe I had intentions for these characters to go a certain way and they haven't. So I'm still going to make them go that way by course correcting The Last Jedi. And so that's what Rise of Skywalker is really. Half of it is course correcting from Last Jedi to continue perhaps what would have filled in. Like, I would have really been interested to see what kind of film JJ would have made if he had made The Last Jedi, because he would have made a fan service film again. And it obviously had, you know, threads in it for Rey to be somebody, or for Finn to do something spectacular, or, you know, for all these characters to interact in a different way than they actually did. And so I felt kind of like JJ just carried on that sort of thread of characterization into Rise of Skywalker by reversing a lot of decisions, which, looking back, it doesn't make any sense, really. You know, it's like Luke is on this planet, he's in hiding, he throws a lightsaber over his shoulder and goes, I'm done with it. And then eventually decides to train Rey out of kind of almost like, you know, stop annoying me, kid, I'll train you, just do one. And then shows up at the end to kick butt, fine. But then in Rise of Skywalker, he was like, you know what, he catches the lightsaber because Rey thinks maybe like, oh, maybe I should just get rid of this lightsaber and I should get rid of the Jedi because that's what Master, you know, Luke Skywalker told me to do. So she tries to do that and Luke goes, stop. No, actually, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. That's not the way. This is meant to be something. You know, I was actually in a fever brain of blue milk or something. So it's like, that just it feels really weird now. But yeah, anyway, this is the final thing I want to say on it, is just that this trilogy is what everybody is talking about. It's a mess. This new sequel trilogy had no clear pathway, had no clear direction, and therefore turned out to be one giant bend me over in the plate, like in the prison ground, and from behind, because it completely just, you know, it was a complete mess. And that's because there was no clear vision from the beginning like George Lucas had. And to me, it just proves Disney has really messed up. They had an opportunity to create something really spectacular. They tried. They failed, they succeeded. They did what they did. 3 films. I enjoyed 2.5 of them. And that's it, really. The new generation of Star Wars fans will be based from these 3 films, you know. I wonder what kind of Star Wars fans we'll get in the future. Thank God there's more stuff like Mandalorian and TV shows coming in the future, Kenobi and stuff like that, for us to sort of wash our palate with, because, sorry, Disney, this one was a burn, I feel. And it would have been interesting to see what George would have done. He said he was going to carry on that family saga rather than do a fan service film. So I really wonder what kind of... Would we have seen Luke train young Jedi with Leia? Would we have seen the Temple Jedi Council, like Luke setting up now again, going to the dark side and having to be redeemed again? Who knows? Who knows what we would have gotten? But you know what? It would have been an ace ride and it would have felt like Star Wars. So that's it. Now, what was I talking about? Staying tuned to the end. Well, in about 18 videos, 19 videos, when we hit the last 100, so when we hit video 265, there's going to be a massive reveal for what I'm going to do. I'll give you a clue right now. Butter and a steak, right? That's the hint right now. But yeah, I'm going to be building up towards something massive, you know. So get a look at this, you know, this is all going to be changing next year. This is all going to, honestly, I can't wait to start this. But yeah, there's a countdown to video 265 where I will reveal what's going to be taking place. In fact, I might even reveal it on 260, so you've got a bit of, you know, foresight. But something big is going to happen with the last 100 videos I'm planning for this vlog series. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Bye.